Basically, Saudi culture is very unique in some ways. I think what I love the most is that the family bonding is very intact, okay?
Very kind, friendly people, and very family orientated, which is sadly not the same in the U.S. You know, I mean, we like family, you know, but you know, when we're 18, we kind of leave home and we, you know, yeah, hi mom, hi dad, but it's not really, you know, as close. Family ties are not as strong as they are here, for example.
I feel Saudi Arabia is a very safe place to live for people having family or raising a family. It's a very good place to raise your kids in a way. I never feel scared walking at night in a street or in a mall. You can go and have jogging on Coronation Khobar or Dammam. 1 a.m. Still you feel very safe. Nobody will come and snatch your mobile and ask for your purse or something.
Given the way that the political situation has sort of panned out in the Middle East over the last year, I feel safer here than I might feel in many places in Europe.
And in general, Saudis are very respectful towards women, right? Like at a checkpoint, if your family is with you, they won't stop you.
If there's one big misperception that I've discovered, is that people think that because Saudi women are covered up completely when they're outside, that somehow makes them sort of browbeaten and timid and, you know, weak and vacillating and not sure of themselves. And I have realised from teaching for the last year and the people that I've met that that's completely not the case. And that, if anything, I think Saudi women are some of the strongest women I've ever come across in my life. You know, they know what they want, they know how to get it, they're going to organise the men so that they will get it. But you know, nobody's ever looked after me for the last 40 years. I've got children who are nearly 30 now, and I brought them up by myself and have completely supported them. Their father did not. So I don't know what it means to be looked after. I think that the assumption is that if women have to be covered up all the time, that somehow that's because men don't like women. I mean, it was quite frightening, actually, thinking that you were in a country where you probably were disliked because you were a woman. But what I realised then was that there's still a very strong sense of chivalry in Saudi. Chivalry is the urge that allows men to look after women, that to make sure that they're all right. And this has really been, a lot of it has been got rid of in the West. Yeah? So I realised after a while that actually Saudi men were very chivalrous and as well as charming. So, but the one thing that really sort of brought this home to me was that I got into a taxi one night right down at the Corniche, having been shopping, and gave what I thought were instructions to my compound. But the man who drove me was Saudi, but he didn't speak English, so he didn't really understand me. And the only thing that he understood in my instructions was Holiday Inn. Now at that point I didn't know that there were 2 Holiday Inns in Khobar, and he took me to the wrong one. We had no way of explaining that he was at the wrong one and where the right one was, because I didn't know where I was, because when somebody drives you everywhere, you never find out where you are, so you never have any sense of direction. And, you know, I'm not used to this. And in the end, we had to stop the car. I was in tears by this time because I couldn't, you know, I just couldn't make myself understood, and he didn't understand. And he called a guy who was walking in the street. He'd just come out of a compound, the Saudi guy, and he said, "Listen, this woman is trying to find the Holiday Inn in Khobar and in the other Holiday Inn, but I don't know of another Holiday Inn. I don't know why, but he just didn't." And that guy actually said, "Get out of the car, I'll sort you out, it'll all be all right." And he said to the taxi driver, "Off you go and I will make sure that she's okay. He hauled another taxi up. He made sure that the taxi knew exactly where I was going. He put me in the taxi and made sure that I was okay. And then I suddenly realised that the whole point about the whole thing of women being protected and looked after is that when things like that happen, somebody steps in, whether it's your father or not, is neither here nor there. The men here will make sure that, or at least with me anyway, make sure that you're all right.
I think that the kindness that, I've traveled, we've gone to, Najran, and being invited into people's homes. We were camping on some man's farm, and he came out, he's like, we had broken Arabic, and he had, very broken English, and our Arabic was probably even more broken than his English. And he's kind of like, what are you doing? We had our tent, we're like, oh, can't, it's okay, I said, okay, so here's it, okay, you're camping, you're on my land, but okay, it's okay.
Other perceptions, other things that I encountered were, students offering me rides, for example. I remember being off campus. I don't have a car. And, even students I don't even teach. Somehow they know, you're KFUPM, I'm a KFUPM student, I don't know you personally, but here, let me give you a ride here, and just the friendliness of the people.
My daughter, who's now 4, we talked about names for her. And I wanted something that would overlap, would intermesh.
A few days back, there was a guy, I supervised his internship thesis. Even I know his name. Before he entered my office, and he said who I am. I said Bara. So Barat Al-Masani. So he was a marketing graduate, and he comes to me and says, look sir, it's my wedding and you must come. And I asked him, you still recall me? Yes, he said, very well. So that is something that really connects you with the people and the society.
We came up with the name Jasmine, which is Yasmin in Arabic. And so, when she's older and she understands a bit more, and I'll tell her these stories, and we'll tell her where her name comes from, and she'll remember.
Today, an ex-student came to university, and I just saw him in the corridors. He came and he kissed me on one side and the other side. So this is something very good in a way, but I get confused with it, because I think the people in the West, they kiss on one side continuously, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And in other parts it's 1, 2, 3. So it's always, I get confused. Now this guy will go on the other side, but this is a good thing. This brings you closer to the people. Then of course, kissing the head of the elders, this is something very moving.